Get it? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Marillion with their song The Invisible Man. Okay, this was a joke, but I guess I'll... This is off of their album Marbles, their 13th album, released in 2004. I believe a lot of you had requested this song, but specifically, this is a request by Paul Gertz. So Paul, thank you so much for the recommendation. I appreciate it. Marillion, the only song that I've heard from them is Script of a Jester's Tear, or Script for a Jester's Tear. I'm not exactly sure, honestly. It's okay. I listened to it again recently. I enjoy parts of it, but it's not a song that I can see myself coming back to a lot, to be honest. But there's aspects I enjoy. So I'm curious to see what they did many, many years later with this song. I know that Neverland is a song that I actually had on my list for a while and that you guys had recommended, but I've been trying to, like, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes just go back to the beginning of the album and, you know, start there. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for choosing this channel in the first place, because from what I've heard, there's quite a few out there. Thank you for the donations as well. It's been helping me out in reaching some goals that I'm trying to improve on for the channel. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below, and I hope you do. Let me know what you think of this song and what other songs I should be doing from them. And let's do it. This is Marillion with The Invisible Man. Okay, it didn't play. Technical difficulties, guys. Technical difficulties. Okay, I think the internet's out right now. Okay. We're using mobile data. Sorry.
I swear I haven't just a crack cup of Amsterdam. have read all your letters. I know what you contain. I have dreamt your dreams. My head is haunted. My head is haunted. I will scream again. I am perfectly safe. I'm perfectly safe. But I am the invisible
I love it. I love being surprised. I've mentioned it before. I'm sorry I keep repeating that, but I'm surprised. Hear me out, though. The only song that I've heard from Marillion before this is Script for a Jester's Tear, which, like I said, I'm a bit mixed on. But I guess in my mind, I kind of relegated the band as a whole, perhaps, to that kind of style of progressive rock, which isn't a bad style. It's just a dated style. Now, what I wasn't expecting was them to really update their sound, because it draws influences from electronic and digital sounds and music. I'm sorry, but for you guys that are familiar, the first moments of this song sound like it could have came off of Massive Attack's 100th Window. Listen to Future Proof. I think that's the first song off the album. And tell me that the beginnings of this song doesn't sound like that a little bit. Thick, dense atmosphere that builds up. I think the standouts in this song to me are Pete on the bass guitar and absolutely Mark Kelly on the keyboards. The amount of tone that they give this song, the amount of ambience that they give this song, because most of it, I would say the majority of this song is just pure buildup. And the way that they have to take 13 minutes, 13 minutes of song, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty much in 10 minutes of that is just pretty much atmospheric buildup. Now, well done atmospheric buildup, but when it comes to a duration of buildup that's so long, you have to be establishing the atmosphere, you have to be slowly embellishing and building up on the atmosphere, and then you gotta take it down a little bit, you gotta go up and down, minimally, before you hit your grand climax, which we all heard near the ending of this one. But I feel like it's the bass that really keeps the motion, and then the keyboards and the guitar, which fill in the details throughout the song. It's really enjoyable to listen to everything that they're doing in the background. That's where you get to see the inner gears turning and working. You get to see that with the keyboards. You hear that with the guitar. And then, of course, Steve Hogarth singing. He has great singing. It reminded me a little bit of what I heard from IQ with Road of Bones. It's soft. He can be haunting a little bit, but he shows his emotions very well, especially kind of talking about the invisible man. Someone who wants to be seen, wants to be heard, but is slowly not being seen and not being heard, which we'll get into a little bit later. Just that amount of stress, he pulls it off with his voice. And then, if you didn't know if he could sing, if he could blow out a power note, he does that near the end on that climax, and he hits it really well. And then we get some nice story elements too, which add to the visual and theatricality of it. For example, when he's talking about the invisible heart beating against you, silently thumping, we get the heartbeat in the back that nicely matches, the effect nicely matches with the tone at that moment. In the section where he says, "I will hear your prayers as you whisper alone. I am the one you felt was close behind you in St. Stephen, a church, I would imagine, a cathedral perhaps." And at that moment, we hear some background harmonies almost church-like, coming in the back, like a choir. I stand perfectly still in the middle of the road. I hold my nerve, I hold my nerve, hold my nerve. So you can imagine, once again, the visual, him standing there in the middle of the road, waiting for the cars to come. What are they going to do? Are they going to see him? Are they going to swerve? Are they going to move? Are they going to hit him? And then in that moment, we get little sound effects of like, almost to me, like the representation of cars passing by. You have this little like creepy electronic sound effect that comes in and is like, and there's a lot of little moments like that I could spend a few more minutes picking out each and every single little one, but I'm not going to do that. You can just listen to the song and read the lyrics yourself to do that. But either way, it's a really cool way, once again, of bringing the storytelling into the sound itself. Now, just because I pointed out how much atmosphere the piano and the keyboards add, that does not mean I can leave out Steve Rothery on the guitar, who actually really does as much as the keyboards do in adding all these effects, all these layers to the sound, and at no point does it sound like too much. I don't feel like at any point like it sounded like, oh man, they're just like bombarding this song with effects, like they're filling it. No, it phased one in, it phased one out, it faded one in, it faded one out. Like, it worked really well, and like I said, they chose the sounds great in lieu of the storytelling as well. Come on, this is 100th Window. This is almost like that trip hop, deep electronica kind of feeling. I think this song, it goes on for 13 minutes and it's a lot of atmosphere, but there's a lot of moments to hold your attention to. Besides just those small details like I mentioned, you have the break near the end where it breaks on almost into like a little jazz-ish kind of breakdown, and then the very soulsy and bluesy guitar solo comes out from that, which sounds really great before it hits that final climax. Right there at that moment, when he ends with, "What can I do?" The frustration, once again, returning to that theme. The frustration, what can I do? He's screaming out in agony and in anguish. There's nothing left I can do. And then ending with his resolution, "I will scream in your ear as you're passing by. I'll wrap my arms around you. You won't hear. You won't feel me. I will walk stride for stride with you. I will try to help. When you stumble, you will stumble through me." Okay, so song's good. Let's get into the lyrics just a little bit. I've gone over a little bit of them already. So taking Invisible Man, my mind immediately goes to Hollow Man, that cheesy 90s, I think, movie, maybe early 2000s movie. When I was a kid, or whatever age I was, it horrified me. I hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea of someone I can't see doing things that I could feel. But I think that this is taking less of a sci-fi approach and more of a relationship approach. Perhaps after a breakup, this guy is feeling like he is the invisible man, that he doesn't matter to this other person anymore. Nothing he does will affect them anymore. Throughout most of the song, he's talking kind of in vague terms about just his inability to affect things around him, for his inability or other people's inability to see him, to hear him, or anything like that. And we get a lot of description in that regard. But then later on, we kind of get something a little more personal where he says, "If I close my eyes, I can see where you live, climbing the winding stairs up to your apartment, the sense of you preparing his evening meal." His evening meal, so there's someone else now in the picture that is not him. He even says, "I must watch in dread when he's cruel to you, in horrified silence. As you make love, I cannot lift a hand to stop him. I don't exist. What can I do? What can I do?" So for whatever reason, whether it is through a breakup and he just, obviously can't insert himself in the relationship anymore, or maybe this is kind of talking about him like after he's died and him looking on her life after he's gone. What is she going to do? What is she encountering? Who's this other person? Is he treating her right? I can't do anything regardless, but all I can do is sit here and watch. And the same thing, just the frustration. "I will scream in your ear as you're passing by. I'll wrap my arms around you. You won't hear, you won't feel me. I'll walk next to you." But, you can be there, but you're not really there. "I've read all your letters. I know what you contain. I've dreamt your dreams. My head is haunted. I will scream. I am perfectly sane." Dude, she's not into you anymore. Just go. I do like how as the story progresses, it becomes a little clearer what the actual story and the plot of the song is. It goes from, like I mentioned, these vague terms, where it's just talking about him kind of like trying to interact with the general world, into something a little more personal and how it relates to him and his relationship, or lack of, with this person. So I think this is a great song. I think it was really cool how it kind of broke my preconceptions, maybe, of what Marillion sounds like, and maybe what other music from them will sound like. The only thing I'm not sure if I like, and to be honest, I don't know if this is Marillion. I think it might be more me. And and more like what kind of mood I'm in to like listen to this type of music, is I think the build up and everything is really good. I just felt like maybe it was a bit too much build up. Like I feel like this song didn't need to be 13 minutes long. I think it's cool what they did in it, and it did keep me interested, but I felt like it kind of lingered a little bit. I don't know. I'll have to listen to it again, but that's kind of my initial thoughts on it. I liked it, but it went on a little bit too long for me. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. Once again, I thank you so much for watching the channel. If you enjoy any of it, please, by all means, share it. Thank you once again for your donations as well, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.